Coming up on the show this week, we've got Andy Stirling Robertson. We'll be talking about psychopaths and then swiftly moving on to art. We'll talk about all sorts of art, AI art. Would you rather be a statue? Do you want a silver tongue? Leonardo da Vinci and all that kind of thing. And we do Neil Buchanan and a bit of Bang & Saint at the end and Raphael Shite. Absolutely. And I also discovered that normal people wear more than one shoe. Okay, folks, enjoy. Here we go.
Welcome to episode 10 of the Carbon Copy COVID Curer podcast. There will be some bad language. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple. You can subscribe to us in any of those channels. We're also on YouTube and Anchor. We're a wedding band from Scotland. We usually sit in a van and talk a load of shit. So instead of that, we're on a podcast talking a load of shit.
Speak for yourself, mate.
So my name's Martin. I play guitar in the band Carbon Copy. I'm also known as Merv. We're also joined by our lead singer David Swan, also known as Swanee.
Hi there.
We've got our bass player Mark Caulfield, also known as Spanko.
Hello there.
And our drummer, known as Neil McDougall.
Hello.
We're joined by a very special guest today, one of the finest artists in Glasgow, Mr. Andy Stirling Robertson.
Hello.
Stirling.
Hello there.
Yeah.
Stirling. I'm not usually, I know there's, when people have three names, you usually think they're a bit attention seeking. But I've got a problem with the fact that I've got the same name as Scotland's captain. So just to distinguish myself, I started using my middle name, Andy Stirling Robertson.
I see.
Yeah. That was the plan
distinguished.
Anyway. It does, doesn't it? It was nearly my first name, but my dad bottled it apparently.
Why is Stirling? Is there a story behind it?
It was my granddad's name, but there's no connection to the place or anything. But no, it was just my granddad's name. But I don't know where he got it from. He was the first one, I think. But no connection to the place or anything like that. And it is Stirling. It's S-T-I-R. So it makes me sound fancier than I am. And it also, for search engine optimization purposes, separates me from pretty much the most famous left back in the world. So,
There you go.
So how are you, Andy? How's things? How's lockdown?
I'm good. Lockdown's fucking weird, isn't it? I think the strangest thing for me was I work from home so much normally, and then when lockdown happened, so a lot of my working life, if you know what I mean, hadn't really changed, but then all the other usual external fun stuff just started disappearing. And so it's been maybe less of like less for me to adapt to than most maybe, but had my ups and downs, I think, like everybody else, but getting good things have come from it, crap things have come from it, but surviving, still here, still smiling.
What's the good things, mate? What's the good things?
What's the good things? I think one thing is quite good has been, so how do I put this without getting myself into trouble? Laura and I are engaged, and we have spent so much time with each other, and we've not been annoying each other as much as you might expect. Like, it's actually been really nice.
Like a test marriage.
Well, I suppose it is.
That's quite good, that.
Yeah. Spent so much time in each other's company, and barely a cross word. So that's been pretty good.
That's amazing.
That's impressive, aye.
That is impressive, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Either we're really tolerable or we're just very compatible. I don't know.
What's the bad things, Andy? What do you not like about it, mate?
I think, it's just like worrying about your family and your pals that you're not getting to see, and then just so much of that organic interaction you have with people. See, just hanging out with folk in real life. There's no replacement for it, really. So I think that's the thing I've been missing most. But yeah, we find other ways to work around it, like starting podcasts and putting art online and stuff, I guess, don't we?
That's
That's
it.
it, aye.
What's everybody else been up to this week, Swanee? Have you been up to much?
Boring gardening shit. I've reclaimed part of the West Bank back out the back of my house.
That's what the size of the West Bank?
Aye, Spanko keeps cutting this out of the podcast, but I'm going to say it again, it'll definitely make it in one of the podcasts. Somebody stole my garden, Andy. Somebody stole my garden.
That's outrageous.
I know. How can you do that? But it was a bit of a mix-up for the builders and stuff. But long story short, I've reclaimed back 32 square metres of garden, which is a fair whack. So I've just been out helping my brother Matthew. Big shout out to him. He's been moving sheds and digging up and flattening and all sorts of stuff, just ready for the slabs going down, and we will be commencing building of said music studio out the back very soon. So it's exciting, but it's also been stressful with working, and just lockdowns starting to get stressful for me. I'm like you, Andy. I really I thrive on the interactions of people, you know, and face-to-face stuff, and we've got a wee day planned out with the North Motherwell Brigada on Wednesday. So that'll be fun, and it'll be good to get back, and you know, the pubs are open, and maybe be able to get down for a pint with the lads and get that kind of stuff on the go again, thankfully. And also a big shout out to my good mate Spanko, Spanko Caulfield over there on the best guitar.
Hello there. Hi there.
I've delved into the Louis Theroux podcast this week. Excellent, man.
It's really good.
It's excellent, and Louis is one of my big heroes, but he's actually, I couldn't believe it, his first episode was with John Ronson, and that's the guy I read the Psychopath test. You know, he wrote the book The Psychopath Test, and he wrote The Men Who Stare at Goats. He's basically a Louis Theroux doppelganger kind of guy. He's done very similar documentaries and books as Louis has done, and they've done it all through the 90s and noughties, so they're kind of like doppelgangers is the only word I can use, you know. And it's amazing. The podcast is absolutely phenomenal, and he talks about the Psychopath Test. If you all know about that book and stuff, because it was massive back in the 90s or early 90s when he wrote it, 2000.
I think I've heard of it.
I've heard the name, possible. I don't know much.
It's amazing, Merv. You would love it. And it's basically about what's the theory called again? The doctor that wrote it. Hold on, I'll get this, lads, because I've definitely got it. The Hayman, is it the Hayman? The Hare, H-A-R-E checklist. And this is the thing that you see if you get into a doctor's now and they're going to diagnose mental illness. You know, it's a checklist that they work through, and this is what this is. And he does a whole book on this, and it's just so interesting, man. He goes to a guy that's claiming that he faked his own insanity, and he's now in Broadmoor. So he'd get done with GBH, and he went to court, and the guys were saying to him, "Look, you lawyers and judges were saying you're going down. You're going down for a long time. This is your third strike." So he faked that he was insane, and they put him in Broadmoor, thinking he's like, I'll get a wee year in Broadmoor, and then I'll get out and I'll convince him that I'm sane again. And he's been in there ever since. So it literally is GBH or GHB, whatever, GBH, isn't it?
GBH, yeah.
That would be like a 5-year sentence, something like that. This guy's been in for 10 years, and he's part of the book. It's one of the best things I've ever listened to. So shout out to you, Spanko. Well done. That's the first fucking good thing you've ever done in your horrible wee life, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Well done.
Really good. Really good. Can I just add on that as well? I watch a lot of, Marianne actually watches a lot of, as I'm sure all your good ladies as well, these crime programmes, the real crime programmes now that are a lot on the Sky Crime channel and stuff. See the people that come on and do the profiling of people. You know how you get the guys that come on and go, yes, well, we found out that he was battered as a child, and that's one step of being a psychopath. And his mother, never fed him for 4 years, and that's another tick. And I hate the people on these programmes and I've been legitimised with this because they've literally done what John done, and you just go to a thing and you get a certificate of attendance of being a psycho spotter, basically. So you go to this one course that you would go to like at your work, and they get you a certificate, and that's what these people are. And the police employ these people, and you get them on all the crime programmes and stuff like that. I find that absolutely mental and all. Because of one checklist book that can diagnose mental illness, you can go to a seminar, get a certificate of attendance, and then you're a genuine psycho spotter. You can diagnose psychopaths.
Well, they say loads of people are psychopaths, don't they? They say it's quite a common trait, and it can actually work well in some. Are you going to get into the corporate stuff there, Miv? Because I've heard two sides of that now. His book back in the day goes into he actually goes and meets a couple of guys that are heady corporations, and they try and he tries to find out if there is traits of psychopathy there. But there's another side of it that I'm going to do a test with one of these. Let's do the psychopath test. I've got it up here, right? Let's do it. So, Spanko, I'm going to ask you 12 questions. We're going to find out if you're a psycho, and I can basically diagnose you here right now. Okay, so what age are you, mate? 40 what again?
35.
35. And you're a male, female, or non-binary?
Male.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you these questions, mate, and you just answer them really, really honestly. I know there's 4 other guys listening, 3 other guys listening, 4 this week. So you just answer really honestly as much as you can, right?
No bother, yeah.
So, most would describe me as charming and nonchalant. I can turn my charm on and off like a faucet. Not me. This describes me somewhat, or this is definitely me.
Not me.
Fucking 8 of that. I do what I want, when I want, the moment the impulse strikes me, regardless of what others want. Not me. This describes me somewhat, or this is definitely me.
Somewhat.
If something goes wrong or turns out badly, it's not my fault. That's definitely you.
No, somewhat me. Somewhat me. I would take a blame for a lot of shit.
You do, actually, mate. You do.
Because it's always me.
That's how I got.
So, not me, I would say, for that one.
I've gotten into legal or criminal trouble as an adult.
Not me.
I am easily the best at what I do, bar none. Nobody could ever take my place.
Not me, Jesus Christ, not me.
I do whatever I feel like doing. I don't care what others think, even if it's illegal.
Not me, nah.
Every person for themselves. I don't see the point in feeling sorry for other people that have no desire to help others.
Not me.
Beg to differ. I've gotten into legal or criminal trouble when I was a teenager.
Not me.
I have no problem or concern in lying in order to get what I want.
Not me.
Live in the moment is what I say. The future will take care of itself, and learning from your past is pointless.
Somewhat me.
You've not answered definitely me to any of these.
Nah, because I'm not fucking any of that.
Okay,
last keep going now.
Two more. I never feel remorse, shame, or guilt about something I've said or
definitely
done.
Not me. Fucking riddled with fear.
I don't see the point in taking on responsibilities of any kind to just weigh you down.
Not me.
Answer honestly,
man. Halfway. We'll go halfway with that one then. How about that?
Score my psycho quiz. Here we go. You scored a total of 4. So you have no psychopathy. You answered the quiz consistent with people who would not generally be considered as a psychopath. Yeah. And that's when it goes on to tell you, while many people believe that psychopaths are more relevant among CEOs and Wall Street bankers, this is actually a myth. It's not supported by any research. While on the surface it may seem that many of the symptoms of traits of psychopaths may lend themselves to positions of great power, the two are not synonymous. There you go, Spanks, you're not a psycho. But I literally could go to a course, like a council course or something like that you would normally do to learn, Excel or something, and I can come out and basically go around the planet and go, yep, I'm going to assess this case and I'm going to say that man's a psychopath because he ticks these boxes. How mental is that?
It's not 12 questions and that's it.
You've ruined Criminal Minds for me. That used to be
mate.
like one of my favourite shows. I used to love that programme, man.
I've done a similar test, but it was the spectrum test for the
Remember that?
autism.
That was hilarious.
I'd scored higher than anyone I know if they did it. Like, it was proper. Like, you should maybe think about, speaking to a professional about this, is what it said at the end of it. And I did answer it really honestly. I thought it must be a load of shite, so I asked more than all the folk around me to do the same test, and Shep to do the test. No one was even half the score I got.
But surely that's the same as the psychopath test in reality.
Aye, it'll be a bit more complicated than that.
It's just a few questions, and you'd need to get a proper thing.
Aye, yeah,
confirm it.
My main point is, with all of that, is John Ronson's a hero, lads. You need to look into him.
I've never heard him. I'll check him out.
He's amazing, man. You'd love him.
This is exciting. Long time listener, first time.
Of course.
Here's a question for you, Andy. What is the best thing about being an artist?
The best thing about being an artist, I think. Well, it's funny. I was talking to a mutual pal of ours, John McClendon, about this before, like months ago. It's just good to express yourself, if you know what I mean. Like, for me, I like imagining the future, imagining stuff that doesn't exist yet, and a lot of the time that's drawing for me, abstract drawings. But when I was talking to John about it, it's like, you don't need to do it for... it can just be playing the guitar for 30 minutes or doing some drawing. It's not like you're trying to make a hit record or paint the next Mona Lisa. It's kind of inherently just good for you. And I think drawing, you know what I mean? Drawing kind of makes me feel more like me. And I think as like a society almost, we get that exercise is good for your physical health. And I think now we're starting to understand more that creative expression, no matter if you're an amateur or a professional, that's good for your mental health.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that's kind of the best. That's what I get out of it more than anything else. Is just that creative expression. I guess.
Blind Boy goes on about that at great length, doesn't he, Swanee? About
I was just about
artistic
to ask.
Expression.
I was going to ask about flow. To be honest, do you experience the flow then, Andy, when you're in the zone, as they call it? I think Blind Boy refers to it as flow, and it's very distinctive. That, isn't it? You know you're in it. I
know, totally, and it is. It's nothing. I can't replicate that in any kind of office job tasks.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it is a really weird state.
What do you think it is? What do you think that is? Flow.
I think it's the joy you feel when you're getting better at something. I think, but you're just totally unconscious of what's going on as well. Or rather, that's not the right thing, because you're aware as well. I guess it's understanding that, awareness is part of this bigger consciousness thing. The most I've ever felt it really is, I actually studied textile design. So I would be weaving fabric by hand on these really old-fashioned textile looms. And so it's quite labour intensive, but it demands focus for a long period of time. But I could whittle away hours on that thing. Yeah. And then you look up and you go, Christ, is that the time? You do sometimes they'll stick tunes on, and I get it with drawing as well, stick some tunes on and just disappear into my own mind for a bit. It's nice.
I think it also proves that we only use about 3% of what we've got up there. There's something happens that you've described it as like unconsciously, but you're aware, but you're not actually. It's as if you're not. I don't know. Consciously is probably the best word to describe it. You're not consciously doing it. No. It's just happening. It's just happening at that
Yeah.
time, kind of thing. Aye,
And there's kind of no
thing.
weight to your decisions either. For some reason, there's no kind of decision making is exhausting usually, but there's no that kind of the weight of it disappears, I guess, when you're in that flow. Yeah, I don't know. It's something that's felt. It can't be. Obviously, I'm not wording it very well. It can't be described. It's something that's just felt.
I suppose with a lot of art, it probably is the case that describing it is the opposite of what it is, if that makes sense.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
Because you just create the thing and it is what it is. And if you describe it, then you're just doing a different thing. You can never describe a thing that is undescribable. If that,
you try to quantify something that you can't. I know what you mean.
It's funny you say that, because like a lot of the starting point for a lot of my work, if you'd like, and I don't have any kind of weighty concepts behind I'm not like a mad conceptual artist, but one of the things I think about a lot in my work is the difference between maps and territories, and we create all these like rules and maps, I suppose, and develop algorithms to like bring order to our lives, but humans are really messy, and we forget that stuff's constantly changing, and so the best example I can think of is like the Glasgow subway map is like this perfect loop around the city, but it ignores the reality of it, which is all the kind of dark lanes and weird corners and Johnny angles, and I think as humans, especially when we're so involved in technology and stuff now, we get so distracted by the map version rather than the real version. And that the kind of difference between the two is a kind of starting point for me in a lot of my drawing and a lot of my designing.
How would you describe your art, Andy? Would you describe your art as what, contemporary or?
Yeah, I think contemporary abstract is probably the best way to do it. But the reason it's contemporary and the reason it's abstract is because I was trained as a textile designer. So I'm kind of drawing. My drawings are part of a process. Like the way I was taught was you do drawings before you design textiles. And at the moment I'm enjoying just the drawing bit so much that's kind of what I'm putting out there. And it's not I'm not like an artist that's working on large scale paintings or anything like that. My work's quite usually drawing no bigger than kind of A1 bits of paper, and then I photograph them and have them digitally reproduced into prints, which I sell in the online shop. So it's part of a design process almost, which makes me a little bit different from maybe someone who was trained as an artist. But yeah, if you wanted to, if you're giving it a name, if you like, then yeah, probably contemporary abstract.
Would you say that the textiles training and background is heavily influenced what you produce in the art? Then is it shape driven?
Aye, definitely, and I think you can tell the way. So I'd kind of draw looking at shape, as you said, and also texture and sometimes like proportion of stuff, because I'm looking for things that I can make into a pattern, because that's pretty much what textiles are.
Yeah.
Whereas, if you look at the drawings of maybe architects or interior designers or even fashion designers, they're far more concerned with like 3D stuff and spatial things and wouldn't be too bothered about the texture on the surface. They're far more interested in a 3D. And I just can't think like that. So even within kind of art and design, you can see different disciplines produce very different kind of processes, if you like. So definitely my work is kind of abstract, and there's lots of kind of repeated lines and scratches and wee shapes and icons I like to repeat, because I'm just looking for nice colour combinations and potential for repeats and patterns.
Yeah, it's interesting how texture can, even though you can't see it in reality, in a sense, if it's a reproduction like a print or whatever, because obviously if you've got the real thing, I'm guessing by texture, maybe you don't mean that in that sense actually. I'm thinking texture when you think of painters putting texture on it, so it's like a three-dimensional, so you can touch it, it's got lumps and bumps in it. You might mean a different texture, I never really thought of that, but like you can still grasp that texture even if you can't see the real original with the texture on it, you can still grasp that, or the human mind can still grasp that texture in a reproduced.
And that's
copy.
one of the, and it's kind of part of this was kind of a happy accident in my work, because I'm always thinking about that difference between the map and the territory, the map and the reality. I'm taking, as you said, a digital photograph, which in theory kind of flattens that texture, but it's still, the digital reproduction does create a version of it in itself so it kind of continues that concept into the actual print, if you know what I mean. But so with the good fortune of like high quality digital photographs and stuff, you can take a print, you can capture a version of it, but you're right, it's very different from the real texture thing you'd be looking at if artists who deliberately like slap on layers and layers of oil paint, for example, that looks like it's jumping out the canvas at you. You definitely lose a bit of that when it's a digital reproduction.
I must admit, I don't get art as much as I probably should. My mum's an artist as well. I find it really interesting though when you're talking about that kind of stuff there, and I get what you mean, Merv, when you're talking about when you look at a photograph or a painting or any type of art at all that's been expressed on paper or wood or whatever on a surface, you can actually, the mind can make you see, the rough and the smooth and all that kind of stuff, which is really interesting. Again, not using 2% of what we've got up there, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's all about that.
The thing as well is though, and I thought, it's interesting you saying you don't feel like maybe you know enough about it, and I thought when you asked what would be how would we describe my work, and I think sometimes artists do this to themselves, where there's almost pressure to have like, is it contemporary art or a label for it or a description for it? Yeah. And I think it can make art can be really intimidating, I think.
I think that's what it is with me, Andy.
Yeah.
I definitely do. You're spot on.
And I think it excludes a lot of people from. I take for granted that I'm perfectly comfortable walking into like an art gallery just because it's kind of my education and stuff. Yeah, it just lets me feel that it's a space I'm allowed to be in. But I'm very aware that that's not something that everybody shares.
I certainly don't when I'm walking about it with my Kappa tracksuit on.
See, in a way though, that's the really distinctive piece of art, the wee Kappa logo.
Yeah,
everybody knows it.
Yeah.
You'd recognise it anywhere. I mean that is art, and you would. It's like everywhere, and it's like it is quite exclusive. It's kind of like music in a sense. If you compare like classical music to pop music or whatever, like if you've got your classic art, however it's described, I don't know. That's one thing, but art's everywhere as well. Well, it is in your Kappa. It's in your Monster Munch packet of crisps. It's everywhere.
Most art students I've seen in the past 5 years have been wearing tracksuits anyway. I think it's kind of been the fashion. I think. Seriously,
I suppose I think it's a subconscious class thing, isn't it? When you come from a working class background and you go to walk into an art gallery, you're definitely thinking to yourself, I'm going in somewhere where I'm not supposed to be.
Right.
There's definitely a subconsciousness of that. I would say personally, from me anyway, if I was going to, and I've been in art galleries and stuff, and I really like it. And there's never been that. Do you know what I mean? There's never been that air of people, you shouldn't be here and all that. There's never been that, but definitely think there is a subconscious thing, especially in central Scotland and things like that. Where were you last night? The art gallery? What you about? That kind of thing.
I know.
Yeah, I've really felt that inverted snobbery against it as well. Do you know what I mean? Like,
have you came across it? Have you?
Well, the odd taxi driver will maybe say something stupid, and even some of my. No, I was going to be unfair there. I was going to say some of my mad uncles from Castlemilk, but they were all really supportive. Do you know what I mean? And even my uncle, before me, he went to the drama school. You know what I mean? He was probably the first in our family, my Uncle Martin, and he went to, it was RSAMD, now the Royal Conservatoire. And no, I hope he didn't feel that. But no, it's definitely a problem in the west of Scotland, because I would tell you, like, the kind of high. The really successful artists and successful academics that I work with as well are absolutely desperate to cling on to a sense of working classness.
Yeah.
Because it's got, for authenticity. Yep. And I've I'm from two different worlds. I think I've got a working class background myself, but I've also got a very middle class background too. So I'm one of these guys that's got two accents depending on what side of the family I'm talking to, which is just code switching, man. It's
That's
not.
very
I don't feel
interesting.
bad
Let's hear
about
your
it.
Castle milk one. Let's hear your Castle.
Do you know what? Maybe they've started blending as I've got older. I've been less embarrassed about it or something. I don't know. But no, it's Glasgow artists have got a weird thing about class for sure.
What would you think? See the Glasgow art scene as well. It's like the music scene, isn't it? It's always got really good folk in the music and art scene in it. What is that? Why is that? I mean, Edinburgh has as well to an extent, but what is that does that? Does any use know what's that ingredient about Glasgow? There's definitely something about it, isn't there?
Is it maybe the architecture?
Do you think, Neil?
It's quite. Well, it was quite prolific, and probably still is. People come from all over just for the architecture alone. It's usually quite.
Do you think that influences then the art and the music? You know, seeing the nice architecture and stuff, and that influences you to be, better at it. I don't know. It's just a really strange thing, isn't it? It's weird.
Yeah, we probably punch above our weight in terms of world class. And I think there definitely is there's a big difference between guys like me and then guys working at the real elite end of contemporary art, you know what I mean? But a lot of these, there's a whole generation of guys that studied at the Glasgow School of Art.
Yeah.
And I think they would credit it probably is. The architecture is definitely part of it, but it's like the architecture, why the architecture? And it's probably to do with the layout of the city and the fact we had good, nightclubs and pubs and, venues for bands to get better at being live performers in and stuff like that. Like there's a whole ecology to it that probably helps a city be comfortable with expressing itself, I guess.
And Glasgow just seems to have more of that and abundance, I suppose. You're probably right. It's a multitude of stuff then combined.
And actually, I think the other thing is we have free galleries and museums in Glasgow. And
that's big. It's massive.
That's a big thing.
That's huge.
We do have public investment in this stuff that helps it be more accessible. But there's still a lot of work to do on that. Christ, I could talk about that for days, but that's definitely a bonus. It's
John Ironbrow Head McClendon, he's in stuff like that, isn't he, Merv? He's doing with his job and that. But the funding party and that, and it seems really good, strong work and strong people like John that have got real ambition to push that forward and cares about it, really cares about it. I think that's maybe the main ingredient for the Glasgow scene. There's a real passion for caring about the art or the music that you love. Do you know what I mean? Or you want the world to see. So I probably and if you don't like it, we'll just nut you, so there's always that as well. Right, I'll go question 2. Here we go. So how do you feel that lockdown is affecting your art or art in general? Is that meant to be, I suppose, or your art?
I suppose, I think with my work I could probably talk about both. I suppose for me, well, I talk about big picture then, I guess, it, like any other bit of, I don't want to say sector because that makes it sound like a business thing, but it's suffered like a monumental shock in the same way as everything else. So, artists, they kind of get into studios, all the galleries are shut, audiences aren't, even when galleries open, museums open, the audience is going to take a risk to come and participate and see it and go to shops to buy art. Who knows? So I've been thinking a lot about this, and I think the other important thing to recognise is, art isn't just what's hanging in the national galleries that we've just been talking about. Art's in communities too, which is again, like you said about John's work, is about getting art into communities, and that can be stuff like dance classes for dementia sufferers, youth clubs in areas of deprivation, after school groups to get folk making music or drawing or whatever it is. And these are all, that's art, and it's financially vulnerable charities that run this stuff. And so when we'll get to the real impact of the epidemic or the pandemic, soon enough, and I think we'll start to see there's going to be less and less money in the system for this community art.
And it's a shame because it's so important.
First to go, mate, wasn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And it's that thing I was talking about before. If we don't make sure that everyone has access to that opportunity to express themselves, you're going to see there's a dangerous decline in mental health, but also you start to impact how diverse a professional sector we have. There's less diverse people becoming professionals or working in the sector. So it gets to the point where, the only people that can participate in art are the folk who can afford it. I'm very aware of, like I said, I grew up with 2 accents, but I'm very, very aware of the privilege of growing up in Scotland with free education. I had help from my dad buy equipment when I was studying. I've got a spare room in the flat I can use as a studio, and that's all stuff that lets me be an artist that's got nothing to do with my talent. That's just dumb fucking luck, and that's not fair. So it's how do we make sure that it's still accessible to everybody when there's less and less public money available to it? That's a big concern for me.
Well, it's good that you even consider it, because I mean, some people in your position would not even consider that, because they go, well, I've got my room, I've got my stencils, I've got my paint, to hell with the rest of them, and it's really good that it shows a lot. You're a bit of a man, as a man, Andy, that you do consider that, mate, so it's good, mate.
Aye.
Definitely. Aye. I think as well the diverse side it translates over to music. We always joke, seemingly joke, about your Coldplays and all these guys that are kind of a well-off people that get a kickstart into the industry, whereas your guys that are on the roots, the grassrootsy music, they need to battle hard to get to your Glastonburys and your the big slots. It's translatable over the both sectors, if we want to call them that. Aye, definitely.
No, totally.
I would say so.
There's a thing in art about having the right, I suppose it's described. I work in admissions at the Glasgow School of Art. I'll just admit that out loud. And some of the things I need to think about is what are we expecting from someone to prove their potential to be able to succeed at the Glasgow School of Art? And it's not about having the cultural capital, is what we would say, and that's having the right cultural references and the right, knowing the right artists to name drop when they're talking about why they want to come to art school. It shouldn't be about that. There's got to be various ways that we can identify potential of someone, especially from diverse economic, social, ethnic backgrounds.
I think I don't. Well, obviously I've never been, but I don't know that much about it, is what I was going to say really. But just when you mention it, the Glasgow School of Art, just when we're talking about things about Glasgow, surely that must be one of the biggest reasons why there's so much art from Glasgow, because it's so it's such a, what's the word I'm looking for?
Renowned school.
Yeah, it's so renowned, and it's it's world renowned, I think, is it not?
Yeah. I mean, I think on some of the rankings, the global university rankings, it's the 8th art school in the world.
Is it really that high?
Yeah. Wow. It's the 3rd in the UK after the 2 big London ones. It's the 3rd in the UK and then 8th in the world. And I think that's to do with another problem if we're talking about, the impact of lockdown. What is central to Glasgow School of Art's success is that it's got a dedication to studio learning. So every student has their own desk and an open plan space, and they're learning not by some boring lecturer like me coming and just transmitting information to them. It's because they get space to experiment alongside their peers, and they're learning together. And the MFA at Glasgow School of Art, the Masters of Fine Art course, which is one of the postgraduate 2-year programs they do, back several years ago now, produced an incredible percentage of Turner Prize winners, which is kind of the big contemporary art prize, modern art prize for artists under the age of 50, I think. And GSA were just on a roll and having graduates winning that prize all the time, and that's it was kind of loosely called, Alan Yentob called it the Glasgow Miracle. This exactly what we were talking about before. What is it about this, post-industrial city of less than 1 million people that can just churn out these world-class artists. And there is something miraculous about it and unknown about it. But I think you're right. I think the art school's got a role to play. The council have a role to play in making stuff accessible. The musicians, the nightlife, the architecture, that whole ecology of it.
There's a few famous actors that went to the art school, aren't there? I can think of
Capaldi
for one, yeah. I can think of there's somebody else as well.
Peter or Lewis?
Peter.
The actor.
Aye. Who's the big guy that played Hingme in Harry
Hagrid?
Potter? Aye.
Robbie Coltrane.
Aye.
That's Fitz, lads, Fitz. He was too young for that. Fitz, that's who he was.
For Cracker.
Aye.
Cracker's good, isn't it? Neil's telling us he's been awake for the past 3 days. What have you been doing, mate?
Aye, the reason being because I've been working on this movie because my brother's a bit of an actor and the sound guys let him down completely, and the film was meant to be out in January, but they've been pushed way back. So I've been given dump loads of audio. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm doing. I've done lots of music related stuff.
Welcome to my world, Neil.
Movies,
Welcome to my world.
Movies, yeah, it's just like a completely. Well, it's the same beast, but there's a bit more things like pictures involved. But there's sound foley and all that, which I have to have fun doing. But it's basically being in the studio breaking bones and doing stuff to make some sounds and stuff. So that's pretty cool.
Wait a minute. Breaking bones?
I've not been sleeping.
I've been breaking bones.
Who's bones?
It's
Who's
like
bones?
an 80s spoof action movie. What, just bones, like chicken bones, or like?
Thank God it wasn't that body you found under your house.
I used the bones that I dug up. So you break them to get a really good snap of someone, because there's loads of action shots and people snapping necks and breaking bones and stuff. So I thought it'd be good fun. You know, why not just put much more work on my plate rather than just mix what I've got. I went a bit overboard and started thumping walls and like hitting pillows and that to try and get some punch sounds and stuff. And it's cool. It's good fun.
Nice.
That's you in the floor then, breaking
Really
some
cool,
bones.
Absolutely. Maybe that's why I'm totally relaxed. I just take my aggression out. Or I'm an actual psycho killer. Like, don't make it probably.
One of the things I was thinking might be quite an interesting idea. Can technology create art? Like, could AI create art? Could like an algorithm?
Here we go.
Is it only humans that can create art?
Well, you need to ask Elon Musk, I think, that one, Murph. He's get the download on that. You know, they're saying that they're starting to, you know, the algorithms in Facebook to switch off because they were talking to each other in a language nobody understands. Mm-hmm. You know, there's no regulations whatsoever in AI, like none. It's worse than the banking system before 2008. You know, you do what you want, invent what you want. If you've got the money, go and do it. So I would say, probably right now, there will be something that can create, you know, an artificial intelligence that can create. Well, there is, isn't there?
Yeah.
You know, there's programs. There's programs. Andy, you'll know more about that than me.
Well, it was funny. I could talk about this for ages as well. There's a thing. I mean, I think like art, music. You know, folk were drawn in caves and singing to each other way before any kind of technology came about. And I think art and music or whatever else will always exist no matter what technology changes. If you're asking whether or not AI can make art, it probably can. But the question that makes art to evaluate whether art's good or not is why did the artist make this? And if AI can't answer that, then it won't be very good. If it can, then that makes it interesting. Mm-hmm. But there's got to be intent, you know. Mm-hmm. And I think, and the other problem is that AI or not, someone still has to write the first line of code.
Well, that's
and they input value systems into that code. Which makes judgments. And an example I hadn't heard of before, but there's a guy I love called Douglas Rushkoff, who's like a media theorist, and he wrote a book called Team Human, which is all about kind of human autonomy in digital spaces. And he said, I hadn't heard this before, but he said House of Cards was derived through algorithms. So I know it was based on an original English version, but they basically had all this data from Netflix that was like, if you like political intrigue, Kevin Spacey and David Fincher, then we've got the show for you.
Really?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and it's kind of, and I was thinking about that, and it's so watchable, but it was like, I don't remember anything about it. Do you know what I mean? It kind of just passed through me. Aye, it's kind of, and I think that digital, you were talking about it there, Swanee, you know, digital consumption of creative work's really interesting, not just the creation of it. And I'm really interested in the way it's going, and the difference between services like Netflix and YouTube, where one's paid and one's free. So you're paying Netflix for it to understand you as a human for your benefit. You know, you avoid advertising, you get better recommendations. It'll say, you know, you like The Last Dance, you might like Moneyball or whatever. Yeah. And I'm cool with that. But on Facebook or YouTube or Google products, you know, you're not paying them. Someone else is paying them to understand you. And it's not just to understand you. They're selling your behaviour to then tweak your behaviour, and that's
control
awful. To control you. And that controls our consumption of culture and expression. So we're going to end up, I think, in the future of like two classes of users or consumers, where the ones that can afford Netflix and the curated content that's good quality with no ads, and then you've got the other mob who are distracted by Facebook, and Facebook and YouTube are just extracting data from them, you know, like in the same way that this guy Douglas Rushkoff compares it to the value extraction that Facebook does, is basically what Walmart were doing in the 90s, where, you know, they'd move into areas of America, undercut all the local businesses, so they would need to close down. Everyone in the wee town then needs to go to work in Walmart. They put them all on minimum wage part-time contracts to the point where they can't afford to leave, and the point that they almost can't afford to pay their own way, and even can't afford to shop in Walmart. The state has to step in and support them. And then Walmart's like, well, we've extracted all the value we can from this community and they'll just move out. And it's like
a fucking virus.
Yeah, well, exactly, and that's exactly what Facebook will do to groups of consumers as well, or YouTube does it, or these free services where, you know, you're the product. It's free to access, but you're paying for it in another way. It just comes down to what we value, I guess. But yeah, his writing on kind of human autonomy and digital capitalism is really interesting.
Just thinking about what you're saying about Netflix and YouTube and Facebook. Although it's all out there, you know, technology, it's all there. Anything you want, you can find it anywhere. But it's funny that we're being possibly driven more into sticking to what we know. Or even like Netflix, like Caroline watches it a lot, and when I'm watching her picking the stuff, it's always like, this is a 99% match, and it always ends up being like, we watched a film, I forget what it was, I checked up a film and it was good, whatever the film was, but it was only a 77% match for her, because it's her thing. I don't really use it much, but it made me think about it, like, if you jump out of that 10% difference of how it should appeal to you, you can find something new that you wouldn't have found before. And I think we spoke about it as well with YouTube, and we were talking about the sort of 5G people and stuff, and again, like, you can totally... You start one video, it brings you the next video, it brings you the next video, it brings you the next video, and if you're watching videos about 5G, it's confirming everything, and I think you're bang on with what you say there, Andy, that there is a real potential for that. Even though it's the same thing, essentially, there is a difference. You know, there's a real potential of people falling into a paid version and a non-paid version, whether you can afford it, which is never good for anything.
No, it's really interesting the way you put that there, though. But it was about, you know, one version you're paying it to learn you, the other version is other people are paying to learn about you. You know, and that's the line. That is basically the line in a nutshell, isn't it? It's, you know, people are learning to find out about you, and that's when they want to obviously influence you for their gain, you know, in whatever way that would be. Very interesting. I've never thought of it like that before, and that's really cool. Quite like
so,
that.
What's coming up next for you, Andy?
So next for me is there's this thing online called the Artist Support Pledge, which was started by an artist called Matthew Burrows. He's from down south, I think. And basically the idea is given the impacts on artists from the COVID-19 pandemic, as I said, like galleries closing, shops closing, artists can't even get into their studios. The idea is that every time an artist reaches £1,000 worth of sales, they pledge to spend £200 on another artist's work. So it's like about generosity and kind of sharing the challenge, kind of supporting each other. So I created a series of prints from my online shop that's kind of specifically for the artist support pledge. I'm a fair whack away from £1,000 of sales, to be honest with you, but just this idea of once I reach that total, it means I've got £200 in my pocket to go and spend it on some other artist's work and just to try and keep everyone afloat, if you know what I mean, while the world's weird.
That's
How do we find your shop, Andy?
I was going to say, where's your website,
nice.
bud?
It's just my name, so it's andystirlingrobertson.com. And I'm on
that.
I know, I'm on Instagram as well, just Andy Stirling Robertson, all one word.
Class, man.
Nice one.
Good luck finding me on Google because of that bastard that plays for Liverpool. But
this is Would You Rather, the art special.
This is highbrow for us.
Absolutely. I'll just go with question 1, right?
Okay.
We'll start with you, Andy, as you're the guest. Would you rather be remembered in a painting or a statue?
Statue. Give us a statue. Not on Kerrydale Street, but just on... I think, do you know what? A painting lives in like a dusty gallery or like one guy's house, and it's always in like a private collection in it, whereas a statue, you're kind of out in the wild. And I think I prefer that. And like I like the idea that years later I'll have done something wrong and I'll get, fucked into a harbour. You know what I mean? I don't know. Who knows what I'm doing now that will disgrace. Obviously, slavery's not for joking about, but there's something really interesting about, that people were going mental at that, thinking we're deleting history, and we're not. It's like history's constantly being created, and if that means taking down a statue and throwing it in the water, that's great. That's the most interesting statue in the UK now. Don't care what you say. So no, give me a statue. I don't want to be some dusty painting. Like, cover me in seagull shite and put me in George Square. Aye, exactly.
I think Andy's got a big point. Aye, definitely a statue. I think a statue. I think I'd like to be one of the haunted statues though, that I could, just stand there, and then when kids come up and get their photo taken, I can just put my hand on their shoulder. Doesn't need to be kids, by the way. Just anybody. Just like to get that out there.
Neil?
I'd probably say statue first because it's like kind of a statue, but I might be like there may be more scope in a painting, so it could be lots of different paintings. I guess just a statue is just going to be me, but I could be anything in a painting, I suppose.
Like holding accessories and stuff. Like
exactly. I think maybe then the question would be, who would I get to paint me? Might be more. I don't know much about statues, but I guess maybe get someone that I don't know that I quite liked as a painter or something.
Leonardo
You could paint
DiCaprio.
me. If you were to paint me, you could paint me.
Wait till you see my work on the website before you ask me to paint you.
It's not all like buff shots or nothing, is it? No.
No.
We've not got enough clay for my statue, if that's the case.
Merv, painting or statue?
I don't know. I think what you're saying about the statue being outside and that, I kind of like the idea of that. But then what you're saying, Neil, about I've never thought about it. Well, there's that as well, I know. But what about an abstract painting of some sort? Like you say, so it's not even new. It's just like some sort of.
It's funny you say that. Sorry, I'm going to talk over you. But my mother-in-law is also an artist. She's like a proper artist, unlike me, who's playing at it. Her name's Eleanor Carlingford. She's got like galleries that represent her and stuff like that. She's the real deal. But she's also done what's called like an identity portrait. So rather than just like depicting your likeness in painting, there's kind of like, it's more of a an expressionist kind of abstract thing. And I've never actually seen one of what she's done, because they're always kind of private commissions that disappear into somebody's house. But there's definitely artists that do that could be far more about your identity rather than just your likeness, if you know what I mean.
So what would you be then, Merv?
I don't know. I feel
Describe yourself in a painting.
I feel as if there's good points for both.
What I'm asking you is if you were an abstract painting.
If I was an abstract painting, what would it be?
What would you be?
Probably just like a black a black canvas.
Black canvas.
Just a black square. In fact, has that been done? Just a black square with some like other stuff in it.
Is there such a thing as the abstract self-portraits and that? Then
big time, aye.
Ah.
There's who was the artist? God, I'm embarrassed myself. I can't remember the name. He came up with basically the blackest black, and it's so black that it like absorbs like like Dettol says it gets rid of 99.9% of germs. This black gets rid of like 99.9% of visible light, and it freaks you out. Like it looks like a portal into another world.
Really?
Wow.
Oh God, why can't
that's
I
a
remember his name?
bit. That's a bit Rick and Morty. You know when he's
wait a
like,
minute.
"I'll show you what level is. This is real level, Morty." And he puts a laser on the ground and it etches out and makes perfect level. And Morty stands in it and then comes off it and then just bursts into tears like, I can't stand on any surface of it again. So I imagine that would be like, if you've not seen that bit of Rick and Morty, it's hilarious. He shows him perfect levels. So I guess once you see that black,
Can't go back.
That was perfectly executed. That was amazingly executed.
It's Anish Kapoor. He owns the rights to the blackest colour ever made, and it's called Vanta Black. So Anish Kapoor, ANISH.
I want to see it.
I need to see that.
That sounds cool.
I want to see it.
I want to see it. You just get it in Google Images. It looks
There's a
mental.
BMW that's Vanta Black.
Yeah, I can see that in the Forbes article.
That is nuts.
Looks like floating windies.
That is nuts, by the way.
Black
It
is black.
just looks like there's nothing there.
I don't
You're
understand.
right. You're right in what you say, though. It does look like you could jump through that.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like a hole.
Aye, that is cool.
Wow.
Nice.
Is this the guy that does? It's like we're talking about texture as well. I'm sure I've seen this in the news recently, and he does like a one where it comes out in a 3D sort of way. Like if you touch it,
He's
coming out.
kind of.
But it looks as if it's in. But he's got the alternative way, which is it's got depth, but it looks as if it's sticking out or something.
See if
It's
you
kind of sculptures that play with your perception of depth and stuff like that. Yeah.
Cool.
See if you look at the one where it's like in tinfoil.
Aye,
Like
that's
they've
what
got
I'm
it in
looking at.
tinfoil. That looks like there's no bottom to that thing.
Aye.
There's one that's a
British-
circle on the ground that looks like there's a hole.
We could have loads of fun with that. You could like cut that and just put it down, and people think they're going to fall down a big hole.
I don't understand how, you know how colour is converted, obviously, because we're looking at it on a screen, and there's only so many ones and zeros that can.
There's only so many colours that can show.
Yeah.
Aye.
How did it not know that was? I don't understand. Like, I don't understand.
I know.
I know what you mean, actually. It probably looks even creepier in real life then.
Yeah,
Aye,
well,
it will do.
you must know this is something with art, because obviously I know this guy invented it as such, but surely if you put a colour spectrum on a computer and took it down to whatever, I don't even know what number that would be. I mean,
I know.
what's black in numbers? Is it 0001 or something?
Yeah.
So then what is that, just negative?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't get it.
I'm
looking at it.
What's the hex code for it,
Yeah,
or like the
yeah.
RGB code for it? Yeah.
Why is the
Wow.
black I not see that black? I mean,
Aye.
why did they not figure that out before? I don't understand.
I'll tell you what, you won't get it in MS Paint. That's for sure.
No, you will not.
I'm gonna Photoshop that shit.
It says in here, this one, British scientists have created a new black so dark it absorbs all but 0.035% of visual light.
Bad.
That's right. I need the blinds. I need them for when I'm on holiday. That'd be
That's
amazing.
Well, you see it in cinemas, don't you? At the start, where they go, If it's like a Dolby Digital or Sony Cinema or something like that, it's just, you think you're looking at black, and then it goes boom, and this is black, and it fucking is weird. If you have been in the cinema in the day that, probably something like that, I'd imagine.
I pray to God that this is not a huge Photoshop scandal, and all I'm looking at is just like people editing out, because I've never seen this in real life. I need to go find something that's actually this fan. I'm not going to sleep ever again.
I won't sleep for 3 days.
Darkest building for the Winter Olympics. What the shit? I need to go find something.
That's amazing.
That's nail up for another 3 days.
I know.
So, Spanko, what would you rather be, a painting or a statue?
Probably a painting. In fact, I got a portrait today of a member of this household, and I'll just send you it. This is a visual gag, so it might not work for the listeners.
Oh, I hope to God this is a dog.
Yeah, you can see it.
That's pretty cool. Who's done
That's
that for you?
mental.
I've sent
I don't
it
know
to
whether
you as
I
well,
like that or I
Andy.
find that's quite creepy. That's quite creepy.
It's kind of creepy, innit? Shan got it for Laura. But it's a dog's head. I think it's a famous painting of Marie Antoinette, I believe. And they put the dog's head in it. But it looks like that thing on Facebook that they send, you get tagged in at Halloween. It's just like a painting and then it screams at you. It kind of looks like that.
Imagine you come in from the shops and the dog was sitting on the couch reading the paper wearing that dress.
What's worse, Andy?
Oh, you're home quicker than I expected.
What's worse is the dog comes home and Spanko's sitting in that dress. It's like one of the ones you would see the big creepy venues that we play up in the countryside, and you
there's a lot of that.
And at 11 o'clock at night, and it's the break, and you come out and you're walking up a wee alleyway yourself, a wee corridor yourself, and you see one of the photos. It lives with me all the way home. That kind
There's a hotel. Remember that hotel we played recently? Or maybe it wasn't recently. It was maybe October, and all the pictures were dog seeds.
Oh, mad.
On the suit, and they were all in suits. It was all that kind of thing. It was all dog seeds on suits.
Was it not like a parody of the famous one where they play pool? The Bulldogs play pool, and it was all them in different scenarios.
It could be, but it was all around the whole hotel, different pictures, and it was different dog seeds on like regal poses, all the way through the hotel. It was fucking quite weird, but it was cool. I liked it.
I really regretted taking that acid before that gig.
Fucking paintings are barking at me.
That picture though you've just put up, Spanks, is really good. The facial expression on Willie is like it's one of the most natural one of the dog photo paintings that I've seen.
It looks as if she's saying to Spanko, paint me like one of your French girls.
So painting for me, just put my head with
oil painting.
Oil painting.
The wee oil painting.
I'm a wee oil painting. Would you rather have a golden voice or a silver tongue? And that question goes to Neil first.
Just say it differently.
Silver tongue. Yeah, probably golden voice. I've already got a silver tongue. No, I don't know. Probably a golden voice, I guess, because gold is probably better than silver, I'd imagine.
Good point.
I can't think of any other reason why. I mean, a golden voice as in like a singing or just the way it sounds is very good, or is it talking about... I obviously think a golden voice is a singing voice, but that might just be a spoken voice as well, I don't know. Yeah, I'd go for a golden voice, I think. Considering it would help in my weddings. So, aye.
I think I'd go for a silver tongue. I don't think I'd know what to do with that. If I was able to sing, I've got no rhythm at all.
I know, but have you had a golden voice?
Do you want a job on bass?
You sell shit tons of art if you had a silver tongue, you know. You could just
maybe that's it. I give us the pattern, and then I can shift all the prints I need to.
Merv?
I never really thought of the singing voice, so if it is a singing voice, I would maybe pick golden voice, so I could sing, play the guitar and sing that. Silver tongue would have its own benefits, I suppose, if you're able to talk your way out of situations and stuff, but I suppose either would be handy, but I'll go golden voice. And gold's better than silver, what Neil says, so.
No, that's true. Swanee?
I'm going neither. I have both.
No.
No, I'll go silver tongue so I can cut it out when we're all killing each other because we're needing food out of people's houses, and I'll pawn my tongue. You can't pawn your voice, lads.
You touched on an apocalyptic feel there. I just remember, see, the start of lockdown, it proper felt like the apocalypse. I was going to buy a baseball bat. Genuinely was looking at it on Amazon.
Seriously, no, I know what you mean, Mark. I was thinking about getting like first aid kits for keeping in the basement and stuff. Honestly, I was going nuts.
What the fuck is a plaster and some paracetamol going to do for you?
I don't know, maybe if Mark comes at me with a baseball bat, we still get...
I just throw paracetamol at him.
You can trip up on them.
I didn't say I'd thought it through, right? I just said...
It's actually Neil's fault, this. He put the thought into my head that this is going to be like, we're going to need to protect your household and that, and there's going to be no food left, and cancer's going to be bringing in your house, and I'm like, shit, I need to get a baseball bat or something, because it's quite...
That's the first place you go. I know, it's funny you thought a baseball bat.
I don't live in the nicest area in the world, like, shall we say. But I can't buy a gun, so next best thing, baseball bat, motherfucker.
Would you put any nails in your baseball bat?
No, well that's maybe a wee bit down the line. Once I've had my first 200 kills or something like that. I've been marking it off with each kill. So silver tongue for me.
Neil, did you say you didn't know where to get a baseball bat?
No, I mean, do you get baseball bats here?
Yeah, Amazon.
I remember you specifically asking that, and that you did seem dead serious, asking as if I would know. But in the first place, I thought it was Sports Direct.
Sports Direct, but all the shots were shutting. So
a baseball bat.
I thought you played with the Brigton Ballers, Murph. How did I get myself a baseball bat?
The Brigton Ball.
That's like old Kevin Bridges sketch, innit? When they were talking about where do you get a baseball bat, and all these guys from Easterhouse keep coming into JD Sports playing with the Easterhouse socks or whatever.
Well, here's a question for you then. If the apocalypse did happen, or say, I don't know, sirens went off and you had no idea what was going on, where would your first place to go be? And I don't mean to escape, but I mean, if you thought, right, what would be your first thought?
As in looting?
Well, if that is your first thought,
just
what would you do?
Do you know that you're going to die?
Would you go, I think I'm going to go to Aldi's because they've got that middle aisle, or am I going to go to like... Would you think
How much time you got?
Well, nothing. Say literally
24
hours. All of a
hours.
sudden, people will run about.
Is it zombie apocalypse?
It has to be zombies.
Right, of course it is, yeah.
Spanko's frantically pressing X.
Coughing would be rubbish. People just coughing over everyone would be...
it was just something...
You wouldn't run anywhere.
So zombie apocalypse, you probably want to... Well, I'm ground floor flat, so I'd probably be dead. I'd probably be a zombie.
Probably a baseball bat.
From a baseball bat. I would have nails in that at that stage.
Where would you get an eye patch?
I've got nails. I've got nails in the house. And a hammer.
No hammer.
I've got a hammer. I've got a full toolkit. Drill. Neil's saw still.
I think you could use that. It's pretty sharp.
Just put the saw on the end of a hammer, and then we go. This is the makeshift shiv. And
Shiv?
A shiv is a. Do you know what a shiv is? A shiv is a prison blade.
No, it's not. It's a shank, mate.
Oh, it's the American version is a shiv, I think.
No, it's not.
It is. It fucking is. It is.
No, it isn't.
What's a shiv
Someone
then?
Google it immediately.
It's a shiv.
It probably is.
It's a knife.
Shiv, jail chib. Yes, it is. Spankle,
Jail
you're
chib,
right.
also chiv, shiv, and chivy.
You're
is
right,
knife
mate.
Yeah, shiv.
So is that the UK version of the American... What was the word I used?
What's the difference between a shank and a shiv? That's literally what it says in Google.
Where do you put it?
Both, they're the same thing. Basically the same thing. So a shiv, I learned that from computer games. It's called a shiv.
See, during this apocalypse, I've always thought if that happened, all you really need to do is have a good supply of food that you can take in a reasonably sized backpack, a flamethrower, and then go to
just a flamethrower.
But you need to be at the top of a mountain or a hill. Do you know what I mean? It's like a wee tent as well, wee two-man tent,
just
top
drive.
of the hill, and then anybody, as long as it's like a tiny peak, You know, it's got to be a wee tiny peak that you can cover with, like if you were going round in a circle with your flamethrower, you could cover the whole...
You can buy a flamethrower from Elon Musk, from the Boring Company. They were selling them. Yep, he was selling flamethrowers.
Much?
Expensive. Let me find out how much it is. Hang on.
Can't be in there. I'll buy that. Hurry up, Jamie. You're like Jamie of this podcast.
Company flame.
What about you, Andy? Where would you go?
Oh, do you know what? The first place I was thinking there was, I know folk that live in quite a rural bit of Argyll and Butte. Gives you a good view of the water as an escape, but scarily close to the nuclear weapons.
Oh.
So if it all kicks off, I'm in the blast zone.
Oh, right.
So
I thought you were going to get a nick one and nuke them all.
Well, maybe no, because actually, apparently, if you go swimming in the water near Cove, sometimes they come out in a wee speedboat and they'll like check if you're KGB.
Really?
Well, they're basically what you do, just to make sure you're not snorkeling for secrets or something.
Well, I've drove through round is it Faslane?
Aye.
And that's like the perimeter of that is
It's
all
huge,
round
isn't it?
the lock, man. It's you
Yeah,
can't get
man.
anywhere
It's
near
absolutely
that.
massive.
Aye, my Uncle Ted used to play in show bands back in the 80s, and they had a resident gig in Faslane, and he said it was the best gig in the planet because they would drive up and you would get your credentials checked at the security, the gate or whatever, and you literally didn't need to do anything. They would tell you to get out of the car. All these soldiers would come out, take all your gear in. You weren't allowed to touch anything. You would just get taken into the room where they would feed you, and then you go and play the gig, and they would take all your gear back out. In fact, I'm sure they stayed there as well. There was, apartments that they were allowed to stay in. So it sounded like the greatest gig on the planet.
I mean, there's huge blocks of flats and stuff in there as well, isn't there? It's
That's
quite a
right.
village.
There's cinemas as
Yeah.
well. Cinemas and I think there's a nightclub and a pub, stuff like that. It's mad.
That's mad.
Aye, it's like an oil rig. You know how they do that in oil rigs?
Aye,
You get cinemas
aye.
and oil rigs and stuff. Aye, but when Uncle Ted told me about it, I was like, I need to get a gig up there. I need to get a gig up there. And I can come away with a warhead and some plutonium. And then the shit will really start.
350 quid for a
What?
for a flamethrower.
Get me
But
two
they're
spikes.
also doing-
If you get Elon Musk Prime, can you get it delivered tomorrow?
They're all sold out. There was 20. They made 20,000 flamethrowers, and they sold out about American $500 US,
Wait.
and they were sold out pretty quick.
How do you get one?
So you
Is
can
it
probably
like-
get someone that's bought one, but
No,
they
but I
probably
mean,
put the price right up.
Is there rules to get one?
It's
license.
called not a flamethrower is what it's called. Literally, the name is not a flamethrower.
But it is a flamethrower.
But it's a flamethrower.
So anybody can buy this? Like any
I'll
maniac?
send you the fucking link. Look.
That's mental. I bet you they do that. You just
Well,
sell
you
it to
could
anybody.
buy it, but they all sold out because they only made 20,000, and they got. I imagine got snapped up quite quickly.
Are they an effective weapon though, flamethrowers?
Aye, of course they are.
Are they?
Of course they are. Aye.
I mean, how
Take
long does that
zombies
last? Look at, I'm having a look at it now. How long can that last?
Well, think about it. My
Flames out of
backpack can hold at least 7 of the cartridges. How many zombies can there be? And how many's going to make it up to the top of the hill?
Is that just your camping gas cartridge kind of hang? Aye.
Aye.
Got a
Have you
couple
seen the
on it for
video of
barbecue.
this? This is amazing, man. Ho ho! I want one of them.
What about you, Neil? I feel like you've thought this one through.
I've not actually. I would probably check my phone because I think I would figure out if everything was down, or it would be something like I could maybe get. I don't know why I would check my phone, but I'm guessing that's probably the first thing I would actually do.
It'll just
rather
be
than-
700 messages in our private chat, mate. That's what you'll see.
Have you seen this? Have you been video after video of like people eating people? Right, we can talk about this in the podcast. And we can talk about this in the podcast. Pretty much what it'll be.
It'll just be people with totally polarised views about the reasons why it's happened.
It'll be
Polarised zombies.
half the world will be conspiracy theories and saying this is actually just like a big stunt, like one of those like everybody does a mad dance thing.
I'm still going down the pub. I don't give a shit if my Uncle Davy my neighbour yesterday. I'm going down the pub. I'm not one of the sheep. I'm fucking going down the pub, alright?
You might have a zombie, but I don't care. I'm not having a zombie. I'll be going to Asda. Fucking arseholes. Fucking lotties.
Did I answer that?
who cares?
I take it Golden Voice was singing in Silver Tongue. I'd kind of like the Silver Tongue thing. I've not got any patters, so Silver Tongue, it would be nice to know what it's like in a normal person's shoes for a minute.
Normal people were doing it.
Let's start there.
I like to feel myself in a normal person's shoe, that pirate.
Oh, fuck.
So Silver Tongue, please. So I'm not making mistakes like that.
Fucking hell. John
man.
Spankle.
Would you rather be a film director or actor? And that goes to you, Martin McClendon.
Director, because I think I don't think I'd like to be an actor on screen and stuff. Is my feeling without trying it, but I director. I think people remember directors more about the film than, well, that's not true. I was going to say people remember the film was more about the directors and actors, but that's totally probably a load of shit, because actors are what makes films. But I like the idea of just being a director and you don't need to take the limelight and stuff.
I think Mel's probably got a point. Be the director and then get the money and run without anybody chasing you down the street. I'm not into this at all. See, when you see all the famous people talking about, and even when I watch stuff, it gets me claustrophobic. See, when they're walking out of the airport and they're surrounded by folk, and I'm like, oh, I couldn't handle that. I would honestly need to have my flamethrower to get out of here. So I film director at the back, which is strange being a front man of the band, but I definitely a film director, I think.
Neil?
I absolutely director. I prefer being behind everything, like drums, etc. So I would be behind the hand camera, I think, for me.
So many jokes there, I know, isn't there?
Andy?
I'm the opposite. I can be shy, but deep down I'm such a fucking show off. I want to be the actor, man.
Oh, really?
I want to be. Put me on the big screen.
Is that the wee man in you, Andy?
Maybe. Maybe it is. I can be like Tom Cruise and I'll get a wee box to stand on to bunch the birds. Because that Top Gun, he had to get a yellow pages to.
Did he?
Yeah, apparently.
Is that
He's a
right?
short arse.
Any movie he's been in with Nicole Kidman, he has to walk in a trench, or she has to walk in a trench.
That's it.
Aye.
Is that true? Were they not married? So she was walking about a trench for the whole marriage?
Well, I don't know about that, but just say were on set.
There was a guy with a digger in front of her all day.
Now, being a director sounds like too much work. An actor, you just turn up.
Do you know the
What about,
director day?
What about learning the lines? That must be difficult.
I think that producers do all the work. I think, and you know that way you're the manager of the place, but the assistant manager really does all the work, kind of thing. So I imagine that the directors kind of makes the big decisions, but the kind of the cushy ones. Whereas the producers are running about like a blue arse fly all the time, trying to sort shit out. That's how I imagine it goes down.
Scorsese's latest one, what do you think of that?
The Irishman.
Aye. Have we talked about this?
It's very, very long. It's
really
my first
long.
Too long, man.
Too long. Stuff needs to be not too long, because it's too long.
Lots of word nerve shot.
It's just too long to sit for that amount of time. That's my overriding.
Aye.
Is
And
it
I like
3.5, 4 hours or something?
It's 4
It
nearly,
just
I think.
it feels longer somehow.
It does. It
Even
feels like a
that.
week.
That's a bit indulgent, perhaps.
Especially when it's much the same as the rest of these films.
Aye, totally. I think like of that genre of his gangster movies with those kind of actors, it's kind of bang on that type of movie. But
Innit?
I really sell. The other thing that really annoyed me more than the length was not necessarily the age technology thing, but see the fake broken glass, and when old man Robert De Niro was trying to batter the guy on the pavement.
Aye.
I
And
know
it
it
just
was
looked absolutely ridiculous.
It looked as if he just jumped out his Zimmer. Didn't it?
Yeah,
It was,
it didn't
it
work
was
at all.
so stiff and stuff. It was really bad. They've got that in all the channel, the programs with the movie bloopers and all that now. Because when you see it, it's so bad. It's so bad. You probably don't notice it when you're watching the movie if you're not focusing in on it. But see, when you see it centralised. Oh my god, it's bad. They made him young in that though as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
They CGI'd him really young in that, so he's got this young face, but his body's moving, like an old man. Aye, he's got the humph, the old man humph. All he needs a packet of fucking woodbine and a fucking half a Guinness and a
suit with a pair of trainers.
Why do old men do that? What the fuck are they doing?
That's an old man. That the other day, and I was just thinking, that's so many old men have done that.
Grey suit trousers that are dead baggy with a pair of fucking Adidas two-stripe. Every man over 70 wears that. But Spanko, at least they wear two.
I never answered that, but probably director. Number 4.
Director.
Would you rather be Leonardo? I see what you've done here. Would you rather be Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, or Raphael? David?
Splinter. I don't know enough about these guys apart from the Turtles, lads, so I'm going to go... I'm going to say Raphael, because of Raphael shite.
Remember Raphael shite? What a name. What a name.
Nobody in the world.
Centre halves.
he cost like 5 million at the time, which these days is probably like 50 million.
5 million quid he cost. I played one game.
It's all part of that Nike caps for transfer fees scandal, wasn't it?
That's right, mate. Who was the manager? I can't even remember who signed him. Was it Barnes? Barnes signed him? I think John Barnes signed him, but apparently Barnes has done a few interviews recently and he'd never seen him. He was literally sent a couple of videos about this guy's a Brazilian cap. As soon as you hear Brazilian cap, then they're in bidding 5 million. The guy was fucking hopeless. Jesus. So Raphael shite for me.
Neil, which artist would you prefer to be, or Turtle?
Always Donatello, I think, for me and Turtles, but Michelangelo probably, because I think he's probably the one I know a little bit more about than anyone else. So that's it.
Right. Okay.
I can't give you.
So you're fucking getting Spanko.
Murph?
Donatello for me as well. Just as the Turtles type thing, I just thought having a stick when you're talking about the apocalypse. If you're Donatello, you just need a stick, don't you? That's you. Just find a stick and you're sorted.
What if your stick breaks?
You'll use 2 sticks, then you form them into like a...
And then if they break, 4 sticks.
Donatello would be fine.
That's nunchucks.
Donatello for me.
I think Michelangelo was my favourite turtle. I think.
Everybody goes for him.
Was he the Cowabunga one?
Aye. Aye, the pizza mad one.
He's the fun guy, Michelangelo.
What one was I think was Donatello the blue one though?
Donatello
he was the leader, was he not?
No, it was Leonardo was the leader.
Leonardo. I think Michelangelo was my favourite turtle, but I get the impression I'd find him a wee bit annoying now. So, I mean, I think I've grown up.
I can't eat pizza every night.
No, exactly. That's asking for trouble. I don't really know anything about Renaissance art. Well, I know I don't know anything about Raphael, Donatello. The other two, I get the impression Michelangelo probably had to do quite a lot. He probably lived quite a boring life because it's like the popes kept on asking him to paint stuff all the time, so he probably had to behave himself. Whereas Leonardo was probably using his silver tongue and chatting up with women and painting Lisa and stuff. So
was he
did he not was he not accused, well, posthumously obviously, hundreds of years later,
after he'd had his
posthumous. Posthumous, sorry.
Posthumous. As opposed to prehumous.
Posthumous, like...
What is he about? Is he a bad
guy? Well, he did lots of drawings, really accurate drawings of the human body and the human form.
He was
of like the muscles and that. So
anatomy.
Apparently, the anatomy. That's the word. So posthumously, he was. They were saying that maybe he was chopping folk up. and like drawn it.
I did not see you saying that at the end of that sentence.
No, how did that even get to there? For Humous.
I don't remember that. I think it was in the news and stuff that it was perhaps suggested that he was cutting folk up, and because they were incredibly accurate.
That's Burke.
And the only way you'd be able to do that would be unless he was stealing it off maybe it was poor people that were dying in the street or something like that.
Aye.
Just fucking dark, man.
Giving the morgue a bung for a couple of cadavers.
Exactly. And obviously he was
It's a wee idea for a project for me for the print shop.
And obviously he was putting hidden messages in the Mona Lisa and stuff like that for the Masons and shit.
Aye, right, Alex Jones.
Is that right?
No, Merv, it's no. It's Spanko away down a rabbit hole on YouTube.
No, that's the Da Vinci Code, isn't it? It's something to do with that.
It's Tom Hanks.
Him again.
He's
Tom
up
Hanks
in this podcast more than John Lennon.
All Saint.
Right, okay, banger or saint. Do you know how this works, Andy? I take it, aye.
I do, and I still laugh on a regular basis at the time when Merv said banger is my default. In like one of the first episodes, I was absolutely howling when he said that.
I know, it's so negative. I need to change
No, it's perfect.
I need to change my default to a saint.
Well, you're going to be just a portrait of blackness, Merv, so you
I
may as
know.
well.
Yeah.
May as well keep that up, mate. Right, okay, so we'll go to you first, Merv. Banksy.
Saint. Totally original stuff. That thing with the self-destructive artwork, I think, is brilliant. You know, people bid all this money and it's to me it's a sort of statement of like, you know, what is the worth of art? Obviously, for me, art is worth a lot, but there is that other element where it's like people throwing all sorts of money at these things, and it's like misses the point slightly. So for that alone, but for all the rest of these stuff, I think he's just a cool guy. Does some cool stuff. So Saint.
Nice one. Andy, I'm going to go to you next because depending on what you say is going to influence my answer. So, Banksy.
Aye, I'm saying Saint as well. I think he's so succinctly makes people aware of like basically politics, doesn't he?
Aye.
And social issues in the most accessible way. So I am, yeah. He's obviously he's rolling in it now, whoever he is. So I'll say Saint.
How can he be rolling in it? Right, I don't get this. See if nobody knows who he is. How the fuck does MD get his sort code and account number? No,
it's a good point. Who's the guy in
does
between?
He get paid?
It's a rumour. Isn't there a rumour not that it's the guy from that band
Heart Attack.
Through the Night?
Oh, no way.
I know it's the guy from fuck. Come back to me. I'll come back to me.
Come back to you.
Massive
Spanko,
Attack.
come back
Massive
to
Attack, Merv. Thank you. Yeah.
you. Jesus Christ. Shut myself.
Oh, really?
Massive
Only it's the
Attack?
guy from Massive Attack. Yeah.
So he takes his dough and then gives him it? Is that
No,
what you're saying?
apparently Banksy is the guy from Massive Attack.
Oh, it's actually him?
Aye, allegedly.
Oh, really? Oh, right,
I did hear the rumour that it was Neil Buchanan who was Banksy as well.
That would be amazing. See if that was true. That would be amazing.
I
think we've just started a new conspiracy.
Aye. Well, I mean, he was in that metal band, was he not? Or something.
Aye, he was
in a metal band as well.
So he's
Aye.
definitely got that edge about him. I'm sure he's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's became is his full plan. He's became a TV kid presenter, and then a kid TV presenter, sorry, and then went on to do his masked vigilante thing. I think it's so.
I think Banksy.
Both are saints for me, by the way.
All right, okay. So saint for you, mate. Saint for you.
Absolutely.
I'll say saint for Banksy. There's not many household names come along in the art world that very often these days. So, he's fucking massive, and he's class. Really cool. Really cool.
I'm just reading here. It says Banksy says that he was inspired by 3D, a graffiti artist and founding member of the musical group Massive Attack.
that what it is?
Right, okay.
Right, so he was influenced by a guy. Nobody knows who Banksy is, lads. Am I right in saying there's a Banksy right outside Malone's?
Is there? Is there one in Glasgow?
I'm positive.
A couple in Glasgow. There's
Couple in Glasgow.
There's one outside the.
Did not know that.
Right outside Malone's, I'm positive there's one out there. I've seen it and I was like, that definitely looks like Banksy, and I googled it that night. It's the first night we played in there, and I thought that definitely looks like one, and I googled it and it was. I can't mind what it is or anything like that, but he's a saint for me. I would say the political side of it. Graffiti artist made it huge, you know. What more can you say about that guy? Number 2, Andy Warhol. I'll go to Neil first. Neil.
Was that the pop culture dude?
Yeah, with the connections to all the...
Campbell soup and the bananas and that.
No, mate, that's Campbell's.
That's what I said, Campbell soup.
What's what Andy Warhol got to do with fucking Campbell soup?
Would you like to
There's
film,
a-
Andy?
there's a print in the Goma of an Andy Warhol painting, or a print that is of Campbell soup, I'm sure.
That's
It's
really
in their
famous painting.
collection.
Oh, is your dad not got that, Spanko? No? Up his hall? No?
No.
I've seen
Maybe
that somewhere, Campbell's soup somewhere.
it's a really famous one, and obviously
There you go.
Andy
show
Warhol's
my-
Campbell soup cans, 1962.
Show my ignorance once more. Sorry, Neil, we interrupted you.
No,
Sorry,
no,
mate, sorry.
Yeah, he's the one that kind of looks like Einstein as well.
Yeah,
He's
he's got the funny hair and the circular specs, I think.
I have no idea about his mental capacity or his dodgy lookiness, so I think I'll give him a say. I'm trying to be optimistic, like
Merv,
Like
Warhol.
Merv.
Aye, Saint. I've defaulted to Saint now, so no, I would say Saint. I mean, I don't know loads, but I've seen a couple of programmes and the stuff is pretty cool, and it is a commentary on modern life. Actually, the thing that I've seen recently is almost mentioning the way things are now back then in terms of the reproduction of just, you know, images, which is rife now. So, but I think his stuff's alright. I think he's got quite a interesting like story in that. But I don't know much about it. But I think cool guy, like a cultural icon.
Aye, definitely.
Yes, aye.
What about you, Andy, for Warhol?
I'm very tempted to say banger.
Okay.
Go for it.
And I love his work, and you're right, he's an icon. I mean, he's just the super elite of he's in the super elite of artists, if you know what I mean. The thing that's always bugged me a little bit about him was there was some of his early work which was images of car crashes, which I think was like ethically questionable. And then there's also stuff that he'd done where he got to a point where he was kind of so powerful in like the New York art scene that he was kind of picking up young talent and sort of not riding their coattails, but kind of exploiting their talent for his own benefit, and then dumping them when they weren't cool anymore.
Really?
A wee bit, some of that, and I'm maybe exaggerating, and I maybe don't know enough about him as a full picture, but there's definitely bits of him that are quite dark. So maybe for balance, I'll go banger.
I don't know anything about him apart from some of the stuff that I've seen in movies and documentaries. So I like some of his stuff because he seemed to be the guy. I think I seen a thing that he was in Whiskey A Go-Go in LA, and he was in with like Zeppelin and all that were in, and I just thought he must have been a really cool dude. But I don't know any of the background stuff like you, Andy, but I'm just going to say Saint just to get this podcast fucking finished. And number 3, William Shakespeare. Oh, Spanko, did you answer Spanger or Saint for Andy Warhol?
Just Saint, aye. Yeah, Saint.
Saint.
Yeah.
William.
Aye, famous stuff, very famous stuff for the pop art.
I don't know how this guy's popped in here. Well, I suppose it is art, innit? But William Shakespeare, Merv.
I'll say banger because
That's your default position.
it's my default position, and I don't understand all it, which is a bad reason to say banger. But
No, that's how I say banger everything, mate.
I don't know much about it, but that's probably my fault. So I'm sure he's got loads of good stuff, but I don't know if he's maybe overrated. I don't know. I'll just go with banger, keep it simple, get it finished, what you say.
Neil.
I'm going to join him in banger actually, because I think that is how changing literally the English language as we know it I guess there's something a bit fishy about that. So he's definitely on the fishy list of bangers.
So we've got a fishy list now.
Fishy list.
Andy, William Shakespeare.
Banger, because I failed my English higher because I spelt his name wrong the whole way through
Oh,
the
did
essay.
you?
I forgot the E at the end. And I don't know
Oh,
if
so
that's
it's just
why.
spear, like a spear.
I don't know. Who fucking knows what was writing? But no, I failed my English higher. Possibly not because of that, but definitely didn't help. So fuck him, banger.
Spanks, the spear of the shake.
A couple of good plays in that. Saint.
Couple of good plays in that, Saint.
No, I think he's probably like the Beatles of playwrights, isn't he? So
Fuck, every week.
So Saint.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
We nearly got the whole
That's right.
episode.
3 hours later, fucking Beatles crawl back in somewhere under the rock that they came from. So you went Saint?
It's a Saint. Aye.
He's
Aye,
a
that's some
fucking
good work.
banger, mate. A total banger. Who the fuck talks like that, Wally? Get a grip of yourself, mate. Fucking aye, banger. Number 4, ladies and gentlemen. Believe it or not, and this wasn't scripted, Neil Buchanan. Spanko, banger or Saint? Neil
Oh, he's a
Buchanan.
Saint. He's a Saint. Do you know that Art Attack ran until 2007?
Yes.
I
And
didn't
it
know
was
from
on...
1990.
Aye, it went on for years and years. I loved that programme, man.
My favourite bit of it was when they're kind of in a room and they have like 2 minutes to make something.
I loved that. And the hands.
I found that quite stressful. I remember finding that was my first experience of kind of stress watching something. Like 2 minutes. You got 2 minutes to fucking put this together. Come on, get the fucking toilet rolls. Aye, remember they always make things that have used toilet roll. What's the middle bit called? What's the middle bit called?
Toilet roll holder, mate.
No, that's what's on the wall. What's the cardboard bit in the middle of the toilet roll
The
called?
toilet roll holder.
No, that's what's on the wall. So what's
That's
on the wall then? What's
That's
on the wall?
That's it. That's the device that holds your toilet roll.
I see. I've got it. What's it called? The tube.
I call it the toilet.
The toilet tube.
Just a tube. You're a toilet tube.
Fucking hell. That was
Aye,
Peter,
but there was always stuff like that, making Daleks with toilet roll holder middle toilet tubes.
Okay,
I found that
toilet
stressful.
tube says Saint. You're going Saint? Toilet tube?
Saint, yeah. Apart from stressing me out at a young age.
Andy, what do you feel about Neil?
Aye, Saint.
Saint, aye.
Yeah. Art class right into your living room when you get home from school. Superb.
Amazing.
Saint.
Neil Buchanan.
Yeah, I would say Saint as well. I remember every time after school I'd watch it, and I loved the it was the head was the best part for me.
Aye.
That was the best character in it.
Am I right in remembering that there was hands? Just hands floating?
Well,
Am I right?
he had I don't know if you remember, he had a programme called Zap, and he also had one called Finders Keepers. I think that was him. He was the presenter of that. Finders Keepers was like a big, massive house, and the contestants had to search through these rooms, but they just like trashed the rooms as if they were like trashing all of them and that to find stuff. And then Zap was like a sort of comic, you know, went to different bits.
I think it's Zap.
Aye, that's what I think when you're talking about the hands. I think
Aye.
that's Zap. Aye.
Aye, that's fucking brought back some memories. I'm going to go Saint for Neil. Have I been round everybody? Merv, have you done Neil Buchanan?
Aye, Saint. Aye,
Saint.
definitely Saint. Aye.
So we're all agreed that Neil is a fucking huge saint, I would say. That's probably the first one we've got. Charles Rennie Mackintosh. We're going to go to Spanko.
Oh, Saint, absolutely Saint. Yeah, one of
Why?
Glasgow's biggest artists, isn't he? And he basically made Glasgow literally. So,
He made the whole of Glasgow.
well, a lot of buildings are in his style. He designed them and stuff. So,
Yeah.
a good guy. Yeah, very iconic design. You can spot it straight away. So that's always a great. If an artist has got a signature that's instantly recognisable in their work, that's always a good thing.
Cool. Merv.
Aye, I agree with all that. Aye, but a world-renowned Scottish artist, and I think you can recognise his stuff. I don't know much about, you know, him or art even really, but you know that when you see it, don't you? So I Saint.
Neil?
Aye, yeah, I don't know anything more about him than his art, and that's pretty much his biggest thing, so aye, I would say Saint.
Andy boy?
Aye, Saint, exporter of the Glasgow style. Joe and his crown's obviously in a pile of ashes at the moment, but aye, Saint for me.
I'm going to go Banger.
Yes. Contrarian.
He needed one.
The guy's got some tash on him, hasn't he? Have you seen it?
I know yous are knackered and done in, but I actually thought of two, one Saint and one Banger to tell you about from the art world, if you're interested.
Yes, go for it,
mate.
So the Banger, and these are the biggest bangers, I think. Have you ever heard of the K Foundation?
No.
So these guys, they're both Scottish, certainly one of them was Scottish, who made their money from being in a band called the KLF.
I've heard the KLF.
And they, when they retired from music, took out adverts basically taking the piss out of the art world, which is quite funny, especially mocking like the Turner Prize. But one of their most famous works of art is they took £1 million to Jura and set it on fire.
Just reading that.
Aye, you know what? That rings a bell. Aye, that burning the money thing. Aye.
I've heard
So
that.
there's a
illegal?
video, it's on YouTube, you can well, so the rumour is, apparently the Bank of England caught wind of it, and the day before were like, you can't do this, we can't have that amount of like physical cash dropping out the system in one go. And we'll give you fake notes if you really want to do it. So that's one, there is one rumour about it that's that, but they say no, it was real, and actually the worst thing about it was it just got really boring.
Aye, watching
Like, it was just so much paper to burn.
Am I right in saying that it was
Disgusting,
a payment for like a record contract or something that they'd
I
won?
think it was certainly the money I think they'd made from their music was what was funding the art.
Why would you not just give that away to some fucking charity? A bunch of
There is only one answer to that, and that's Banger, innit?
Banger.
That is fucking that's king of bangers. Is it a statement of art then? Is that what they're saying this was? Because see if that's art, I'm not into that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's bizarre.
Well, the counterbalance to that is, and I promise I'll shut up, you'll not have me on again. But, have you ever seen Picasso's Guernica? Which is this, it's
Yes.
25
My dad's got it in the
foot
house.
wide
Not the original
Not
one.
the actual one, I hope not, because the Reina Sofia in Madrid would be on the phone.
Aye.
It's one of the first bits of art I've seen that like nearly knocked me off my feet without being melodramatic, but it's this really powerful anti-war painting. It's a black and white, there's kind of like dying horses and screaming women and stuff like that. And so
Bit abstract, like.
Was Picasso in
quite
it?
a lot to
He's
take
all
in.
abstract.
And it was about the bombing of Guernica basically by the Germans, and it's this kind of anti-war painting. So the United Nations had a tapestry replica made of it and hung it at the entrance to the Security Council's like meeting room as a place to be like, you know, we are discussing peace and are supposed to discourage powerful people from starting wars. And the most amazing thing about this painting is, or the replica of it is, in 2003, before the Iraq War, Colin Powell asked the UN to cover it up for when he was doing his speeches, because he felt it was just too powerful an anti-war message for him to justify what they were doing at the time.
Fucking hell.
And they did. They put a blue curtain over it. And I just think if you ever doubt like how powerful art is, like that tells you the most powerful men in the world were terrified of this painting. Yeah. So I'm fascinated by that. Like it's not a very cool thing to like Picasso, I don't think.
No, it's amazing.
But that painting's something else.
Why is it not very cool? Is that like the music scene? If you like somebody that's really good,
powerful.
then you're no
It's
cool.
like liking the Beatles.
Yeah.
So you're no cool then? If you like the Beatles, is that what you're
you
saying?
want to
The
have
Beatles?
something really obscure, man.
So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we'll just end the podcast. I'm looking at that fucking picture of Picasso, and all is it, like you say, the horse's head, the eye, all the burning bodies.
Carnage, innit?
It is. It's like a mass of mentalness.
It's 25 feet wide as well.
Is that what size that is?
Aye. It takes up a whole room in that gallery in Madrid. It's
And
amazing.
Wow.
interesting that shows a sort of fear of art
Yeah.
from the establishment or whatever you want.
They're
No,
always
exactly.
scared.
You know what I mean? The guy with the most powerful army the world's ever seen, and he's asking them to cover it up with a wee curtain. Yeah, pretty cool.
That kind of lines into Banksy as well, because they're fear of the guys like that as well, in the art scene, because they're fear of the social, movements that these guys can create. They're absolutely petrified of that stuff. They really are. So that's an amazing fact. Is that in your dad's house, did you say, Spanko?
Well,
I know that.
Aye.
I know, aye. That's mad. I don't think I've ever
got a
seen that
print
in
of
your
it.
dad's house.
Aye, it's massive. I think it's above the kitchen table, just to remind them to
Start any wars.
start
They
any
cover,
wars.
they cover it up when they're
They cover it up when my
war.
mum's wanting to fight.
Excellent.
Right, cover it up now. Thanks very much for listening, folks.
Listen,
thanks,
Andy,
Scott.
thanks very much for that.
Thanks,
mate.
man.
That was
Absolute
amazing,
pleasure, man. No, it's been
Really
so
interesting.
Listen, I've really enjoyed listening to you guys, and good to just catch up with you and talk for a bit. And so good to hear you are doing well and keep it up. Cause
You too, mate. You too.
Podcast.
And hopefully
Great.
next time we can raise a glass together.
exactly, in real life.
Aye, that would be
I
grand.
hear you.
Thanks very much for listening to the Carbon Copy COVID Curer podcast. We'll be back soon with another ill-informed, chat-filled episode. Why not tell us what you think by email, inquiry@carboncopymusic.band, or visit our website, carboncopymusic.band. And if you're feeling really generous and you haven't already, please give us a like on our Facebook, facebook.com/carboncopy4, and even our Instagram, @carboncopyweddingband. Thanks again. No bangers were harmed during the making of this podcast. Carbon Copy reserve the right to moan about anything they like, and they will. Thank you.